On Saturday, December 5th, Donald Trump had flew to Valdosta, Florida, to speak at a Klan rally to support two Republican Party candidates for the Senate. And, now, he was supporting Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, and it was his first Klan rally since the election a month earlier. Now, the point of Donald Trump's trip to Georgia was to encourage voting in that particular January 5th runoff. And this was going from a year ago, basically, but this article was posted yesterday. Um, Now, to encourage the voting in the January 5th runoff, a race that would decide the balance of power in Washington, the Republicans needed one victory in Georgia to maintain the majority, and Democrats needed to sweep Georgia to create a Senate divided down the center, making Vice President elect Kamala Harris president of the Senate in the tie-breaking vote. Now, thousands of Georgians came out, largely unmasked, to the Klan rally site at Valdosta Airport, not for the candidates, but for the fake squatter, the the squatter who basically didn't fight for anybody. Chants of "Fight for Trump" drowned out the Senate candidates when they briefly spoke. But why fight for Trump when he doesn't fight for us? The Klan rally was a success for Trump, strengthening his connection to his personal base. But for the Republican Party, it was a fucking complete disaster. After perfunctory introductions of Loeffler and Perdue, and Trump had pivoted back his favorite subject, his fictitious narrative of a stolen election. You know we won Georgia, just so you understand, the squatter said, and we won Florida, and we won a lot of places. You might have won Florida, but you didn't win Georgia. And remember, we were going to lose Florida. I think they say that if you win Florida, if you win Ohio in history, you've never lost an election. This has got to be the first time, but the truth is they were right, and we've never lost an election. Well, this time you did. In a 2-hour speech, Trump called the Senate, the state of in his 2-hour Klan speech, Trump called the state of Georgia corrupt and said that votes were coming out of the ceiling and out of lumber bags, which wasn't true. He urged everyone to vote, cautioning that they needed to make sure that no one threw out any ballots. That the Georgia Secretary of State didn't know what the hell he was doing. Actually, he knew better than you did. And at every point, the crowd interrupted with shouts to stop the steal, which there was no steal. Very simply put, you will decide whether your children will grow up in a socialist country or whether they will grow up in a free country, and I'll tell you this. This socialist is just an understanding and the beginning for these people. These people want to go further than socialism, but they want to go into a communistic form of government. I have no doubt about it. Oh yeah, because you're the one that wants to make us a communist nation, dumbass. Calling the Democratic Party candidates two of the most extreme far Democratic candidates in the history of our country, Trump urged people to vote while also saying that they could cheat in Georgia and they're going to try and rig this election too, which they didn't. Now he went on and on about all the good he'd done, which he didn't do anything good in the 4 years he was squatting in the White House, about everyone else being a fraud or a danger, which that's basically what he was. Trump tried to claim he was saving America, which he didn't. He was trying to claim that he was protecting the right to free speech, which only pertains to the Republicans. Basically, the Republicans are the only ones that can have free speech, but it only works in their favor. They don't want nobody else to have free speech. About saving their guns, Democrats have never taken their guns. About stopping radical indoctrination of their children, and we can't let them do it. Steal Georgia, which they didn't. Your governor could stop it very easily if he knew what the hell he was doing. He knew what the hell he was doing. He knew you lost, and he wasn't going to give it to you. Hours before his appearance in Valdosta, the squatter called Georgia Governor Brian Kemp a fellow Republican, asking him to convene the state legislature, appoint pro-Trump electors, and overturn the results, which was never going to happen. But Governor Kemp refused, according to the Associated Press's account. Kemp tweeted that Trump asked him to order an audit of signatures on absentee ballots, a move he said that he was not empowered to take because he had no authority to interfere in that process. Trump responded on Twitter, "Your people are refusing to do what you ask. And what are they hiding? Nothing. As I told the squatter this morning," Kemp tweeted, "I publicly called for a signature audit 3 times, going from November 20th, November 24th, and December 3rd of last year to restore confidence in our election process and to ensure that only legal votes are counted in Georgia. An audit that had been initiated by Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, and the race had already been certified. Biden fucking won. Trump needs to fucking get over it." At this point, many mainstream Republicans in Washington were concerned that Trump's harping on fraudulent elections would actually discourage people from going to the polls, and the margin for Biden in Georgia was only 12,500 votes out of 5 million cast. So even a small shift could have an outsized effect. The vice squatter, Mike Pence, was worried enough to address that issue. And campaigning with Purdue and Savannah, he said, I know we've got all our doubts about the last election, and I hear some of you saying, just don't vote. If you don't vote, they fucking win. The Republicans can go on to lose both races in historically deeply red Georgia. But back in Washington on December 5th, the Attorney General William Barr wrote out his resignation letter. That was back then, yeah. So if you like the video, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out, and thanks for listening.